In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about communicating with spirits using devices such as spirit box, spirit talkers. Um, it's just a way we're able to communicate with the other side. I'm not saying that it will happen all the time, but these are the devices that we use to attempt to make that contact. Uh, you can spend a lot of money buying high dollar paranormal equipment, but there are apps that you can download on your phone. Um, a lot of them. I pretty much tested every one that's come out, but there are a lot of them that they're more of a game, entertainment. They don't really work. They're programmed, but there are a few that I believe do work. Um, I first want to talk about. It's called Spirit Talker. It is a free app that you can download for any phone. I'm going to pull it up on mine so I'll be able to show you. Well, I don't know if I can, maybe. This is what the app will look like. It's called Spirit Talker. You can add it to your phone. It's almost like an Ovilus, um, where not sure whether it has like workbench in it or just a way that they can manipulate it to talk a voice, through the app. Um, but I use this quite a bit because it reminds me a lot of the Ovilus. Um, what you'll get to come through that will be words, possibly a sentence. Uh, Sentences, not that often, but you will get words. What you're wanting to do with the questions that you are asking, you want to see what words come through and see if they have any relevancy to the questions that you're asking. Pay close attention that you may get one word here, and a little bit later you might get another word and then another word, or you may get a couple words. It's going to sound the voice is going to sound the same through the whole thing because it's programmed one voice is going to sound through it. But pay attention to the words come through. See out of those words, they're kind of like a puzzle. See if any of them might make a sentence or if they have anything to do with each other. Um, to see if any of those questions that you're asking, possibly these answers are coming back. It'll list on it, the different words that are going to come through when the spirit is trying to communicate with you. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get anything here or not. Is there any spirits here with me? Can you use this device in my hand to communicate with me? I don't have any activity going on here at my home. Um, it's real active when I go to haunted locations, go to cemeteries, or do investigations for clients. So if there is a spirit in your home, or depending on what you're doing, if you're trying to connect with a loved one, a family member, or trying to find out what possibly is in your home, or if you're an investigator, um, you know, this app does work. I did have something come through. It'll give you the word that'll be listed up here, and once it kind of sets through, then it'll drop down to a list. So you'll have a bunch of words come up, you know. Him. Okay, I have two words come through. It said destroy and him. I'm not sure what they're talking about, whether it's a spirit trying to connect and communicate with me, or it's just picking up on spirit energy that's out there. Um, a lot of times it's kind of like your spirit box. I believe that um, I don't know. You hear a lot of residual energy come through as well as intelligent spirits. So I mean that's a possibility. What's going on there? There are two other apps that you can download. They do cost a little bit. They're excuse me. They are under $10. One of them is a necrophonics, which I've used for a couple years or longer now. It reminds me of I don't know, kind of like a portal box in a way. It picks up on the spirits. There are word banks that are in there. It doesn't have the white noise, even though the app itself or the program itself shows that you can do white noise. I don't use it, um, but it is there. But it will have both intelligent and residual. You'll hear a lot of chatter come through. That's what it'll look like. This is the setup on your screen. Now it has reverb and it has echo and it has the white noise. I don't use the echo and I don't use the white noise, but I do use the reverb, um, which is right there. And then, of course, you'll hit the start button to start it. Um, on this program, like I say, you'll have a lot of things coming through. A lot of it is residual. They're just talking amongst themselves. So you have to pay real close attention. You have to listen real hard. Um, I try to listen for answers to the questions I'm asking. Listen for answers come through that may have any relevancy to where I'm at or what's going on. You will get names come through. You'll hear sentences. You'll hear sounds that kind of sound evil or demonic. Um, it doesn't mean that that is there with you, because I believe that spirits can be somewhere else and it is coming through on these. So you have to kind of listen, like I say, for the answers to come through. I do notice that you'll hear real strong talking come through, but you may hear something of a little fainter voice in the background. I've been in a habit of listening to what I'm hearing in the background because I am finding that that has a little more relevancy to what I'm doing or the questions I'm asking. It is hard to hear. So I do like to record when I'm using any of my devices trying to get EVPs. I like to record it that way I can play it back over. But sometimes as you're listening to it as it's coming through, you are missing things. Um, but when you have the opportunity to listen back over, one, two, three times, you start picking up things that you didn't hear the first time around when you were doing it. So it is beneficial to record if that's possible. Um, I'm going to go ahead and start it. It's probably going to pick up a lot of things, but turn my volume up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear what's coming through. I don't have it hooked up to a speaker, so it's hard hearing it through the speakerphone. But this app you can download. You can download it on any phone, and I believe the cost is like $9 and some odd cents. It's less than $10. Um, the other one is fairly a new program, developed by Amy and Jared of Amy's Crypt. Um, when they developed it, they sent me a message, telling me about it. Um, because they had me test out their SLS, which I believe also works. What that is, if you're not familiar, That's an app that will do like stick figures through kind of like a connect system where it'll map anything that's in front of it. You know, if a human walks in front of it, it's going to map like a stick figure. But if there's nothing out there and you have a stick figure show up, more than likely you're mapping some kind of spirit energy there. On the phone app device, it doesn't, you know, it's not like the regular Connect system or the high dollar one that I have, but I have used them together side by side to see how accurate they are when I was testing them. I do find that in the phone app one, it does do some false readings here and there. So, you know, that's something you'll have to pay a little close attention to because it will pick up, like you see the dolls I have in the back, it'll possibly pick those up because they resemble a doll or a mannequin. Some type of chairs, it thinks it's a human. It will map those, but that's in different videos. This one we're just talking about spirit boxes. Now this app that I'm talking about, it's GhostTube, and it's only available for iPhones. You can't get it on any phone. But I've been testing it out for I guess about maybe 3 months, 4 months, maybe a little bit longer. And it's called GhostTube Vox, VOX. And I kind of compare it to Stephen Hoff's Portal. His design, once again, it's not like the SB7 or SB11 spirit boxes, which they scan through radio stations forwards or backwards. So you have like that white noise in it. They're hard to make out what's coming through them. You have to be pretty much more on the lines of a professional to be able to use those to understand what's coming through. With these apps that you can upload to your phone, it's a little easier for beginners or somebody that's not even into the paranormal, but they want something to see if they can figure out what's in their home, or if they're trying to connect or communicate with a loved one. But it'll have a little bit of a reverb to it. I find that I don't get a lot of the residual energy come through like you do on the necrophonics. It's more spirit energy that is close by that is talking. Once again, just listen for the answers to come through, questions that you are asking. That's basically what you're trying to do is when you're communicating with them. You're trying to get them to use your device to answer you back. See if it's going to say something else here. I don't know if you were able to hear it while I was talking. Of course, I was talking there. Is there any spirits here with me that can use this device I'm holding in my hand? If there is, can you tell me yes? No? You don't want to talk with me? I'm giving you the opportunity to say anything you would like to say, be able to use your words to where we can hear you if you use this device I'm holding in my hand. When you're using these devices, when you're asking a question, try to ask a question, not a multiple choice question or anything like that, but a question, and then be silent for a little bit. Because a lot of times they can't, when you're done asking a question, they may not be able to use the device to answer it right away. It may take them just a few seconds, to be able to manipulate the device to answer the phone. So you got to kind of be patient with it when you're asking the question. You ask the question and then you just listen for an answer to come through. You don't hear anything come through, to your question, ask another one. But that's what this device will do. It doesn't give you a list of, what you're hearing. So once again, I recommend that you record what's coming through. This device does allow you to record, your sessions. That way you can play it back. But a lot of times, I'll have my camera when I'm doing my investigations where I'll have the phone close to the camera. That way it is recording it. A lot of times I'll use multiple cameras. I may have a static cam set up and I'll set the phone beside of it on a speaker. I use a speaker with all my devices because it's a little louder. You're able to hear better. But that way I can, don't have to stand there and hold it. I can set it by the camera. I can walk around, being asked questions, talk, pay attention to everything else that's going on around me. And this will pick it up, and then I can play back over it and, be able to hear what comes through. Questions that you want to ask. Like I say, you don't want to use real hard questions depending on what you're doing. If you're trying to communicate with a loved one, or whether you're trying to connect with something else. But, either way, the questions you're going to be asking, I'll give you a couple for instance. If I'm doing a paranormal investigating, I know there's spirits there, energy, don't know who they are, why they're there, or anything like that. So, that's what we're trying to find out. So, I always like to properly introduce myself, when I'm going to a haunted location or even to someone's home to do an investigation to find out what is there for them. So I'll properly introduce myself, basically tell him why I'm there, that I was invited by the person that is there at that home or business. And then I'll pretty much say, if there's anyone here with me, I'm here trying to see if possibly we can communicate with each other. I have devices here that I use. It'll enable you to, let us know that you are here. It's something you can use. This device I have here, it's a spirit box or spirit talker. It's a device that you can use and speak words to where we can hear them. I ask that you please, come and join me. And if it's okay, we can communicate with each other. Use this device and, communicate with me. And then I'll do a little silence there and listen to see what possibly comes back through. And then I'll proceed into my questions. How many spirits are here with me? Maybe another question would be, are you able to see us and hear us? Basically down that line to kind of get the conversation going. Let them know, kind of what you're doing. You can ask other questions that, like I say, my name is Tim. Can you tell me your name? If you're communicating with like a loved one, you already know who you're trying to connect with. They already know who you are. So probably going to go more in the lines of questions of, asking if the spirit of whoever is there with you. You would like to possibly communicate with them. You have a device here. If you would please use this device and let's have a conversation. You know, I miss you, very much. I still feel that your presence is still with me, uh, but you know, I would like to be able to talk with you, and you can use this device to do that, and then start asking your questions, try to see if you can get them to come through. See if answers or anything, ask questions like something they would know that they would answer back, you know, like, maybe they had a favorite meal. Can you remember what your favorite meal is that I cooked for you? Or possibly your favorite color shirt or favorite movie. Questions are wide range. Use something down that line, something that if it came back through them talking, you know, you would know it'd be more verification that you are talking with that person. Once you get that kind of line opened up, then you can just have a conversation with them. Now, keep in mind that just because you're doing a spirit box or trying to connect with a spirit or interact with them, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It may not happen one day, but you try the next day, it may happen. We never know when they're going to connect and communicate with us. Because I do believe, excuse me, I do believe that spirits, um, they they move around. They're not always in one spot. The only ones I believe to be in one spot is more residual, something that um, didn't didn't know they were going to die. It just was sudden. They weren't prepared for it. Uh, I do believe that that spirit is stuck in that spot. Like if you were in a car accident and died from it, you didn't know it was going to happen. It just happened, so you weren't prepared. And I believe that spirit, you know, it goes with wherever your body goes. When they pick your body up and take it to the morgue, funeral home, to a graveyard, I believe it travels with it. Um, because I do find a lot of spirits in cemeteries that are lingering there, and I believe that's the reason why. As to where if an intelligent spirit did know they were going to pass away, um, so they're more inclined to be able to travel. They may go to the cemetery if that's where their body is buried. They may go to a place that they enjoy, such as some kind of nightclub or a restaurant, movie theater, person's house. I mean, they do travel, but I do believe that they come back to their home where they used to live. Um, I am able to go into a place and, like I say, I may be there for 2, 3 days. I may get nothing the first day, may get nothing the second day, but the third day is like they came back, to either visit or just passing through. We never know when they're going to connect and communicate with us. So you have to have a lot of patience, when you're doing, any type of investigation, spirit box sessions, um, using trigger objects such as little cat balls that light up, uh, a musical type child's toy, something that operates off a battery. It plays music or lights up different colors. A ball, set it on the floor or on something and see if you can get them to move it for you. Um, little trigger objects like that. Um, leave um, something on a counter, something small, and see if you can get them to move it. Um, if they, the more energy they have, the easier it is for them to do things. I will tell you that. If they don't have the energy, they're not going to do a whole lot. You may hear knocking sounds, or if they get close to you, you're going to get like a static charge where the hairs on your arm are standing up, or you'll get like a cold rush feeling to you. Um, kind of like you open up the refrigerator door and you hit that cold air hits you. It's going to be that type of feeling. You may feel like something kind of pull on your shirt, or you might feel like a little touch. These are some of the easier things that they can do. If you have a camera that has IR, night vision, if you set that up uh, and totally in the dark, you may see orbs. That possibly could be an indication that there is something there. Um, don't don't want to say that the orb is intelligent spirit or someone that is family member or whatnot. It could just be a residual energy passing through because they have no boundaries. They just move around. They don't even know we exist. They don't even really know that they have died. Um, Other things that I kind of look for, like I say, listen for sounds, listen for things being moved. Um, let's, use your six senses, the feelings, like there's a presence there, something touching you, smells, um, the coldness, pay attention to those type of things. Um, Flickering lights, always pay attention to that. I'm not saying that that's spirit related. It could be some kind of a electrical issue. Um, but if you can have something like a light turn off and turn back on, you know, just double check, the light to make sure it's not a malfunction in the light. But a lot of times I'll have light will turn off, and I'll ask. I said, "Well, I see you turn the light off for me. Can you use your energy and turn it back on, please? See if that works." Um, TVs, radios, your phones. Um, sometimes they'll manipulate these devices where you may hear a voice come through, or I have had where a channel on my TV would just change as I'm watching it, or it may turn off, or I may be uh, sitting there reading a book, and all of a sudden the TV turns on. You know, this could possibly be some kind of spirit energy trying to connect with you, trying to show some way to get your attention that they are there. But like I say, you have to investigate a little further into what is going on to see if that actually is some kind of spirit energy trying to connect with you, or whether it's just some malfunction. You have to kind of debunk a lot of things, especially on, like, you may see a curtain move or a piece of paper move or whatever. Look at the surroundings. See if there's a fan, uh, crack in the window, depending on where you saw the item move. Whether you have a heater or AC uh, that's blowing, that may possibly have moved it. If you're unable to come up with any logical explanation of anything causing that, possibility that there is something there that's moving something, trying to get your attention. Um, I think this pretty much covers, the different devices you can use, um, how they operate. Like I say, anything that has white noise or echo, kind of stay away from. I mean, the device might have that, but I don't turn those on. I'll use reverb or I won't use the reverb, and see what comes through. Um, there are a lot of other apps that you can use. Some of them, you might get something come through that actually is, but a lot of it that's coming through, I think it's programmed. So I kind of stay away from those devices. But these three devices that I showed and recommended, I do believe them to be 90 to 100%, accurate on what we use. I use them on a lot of my investigations. I'm real happy with the results I'm getting from them. I do get some intelligent responses come through these, but like I say, once again, pay attention to what's coming through. See if it has any relevancy. See if it has, any of the answers to the questions that you're asking. Names that come through. Pay attention to those. See if that might have some kind of connection with whoever you're trying to communicate, or possibly the person you are communicating with. I kind of went over basically how to conduct a spirit box or EVP session, depending on whether you're just doing it to on an investigation, or whether you're trying to connect with a loved one or something that's there in your home. Basically, some of the type of questions that you want to ask. I mean, you can use your own, not judgment, but your own thoughts or ideas of what type of questions. There's no right way, no wrong way of asking questions. You just don't want to do them boom, boom, boom. You want to do a question. You want to be quiet for a little bit. Give them the opportunity and the time to manipulate our devices to answer that question before we ask another one. Same thing on if we're using trigger objects or toys or anything like that. If we ask them to do something, to turn it on, move it, um, anything down that line, basically like a spirit box. You ask them to do it, you wait, see if they're able to, because they may have to gain some energy to do it, or they may have to go over there and figure out how to do it, before I ask another question. Give them the opportunity. Don't ask another question and then it moves, because it's possible you don't know whether they moved it on your first question or your second question. So give a little bit of time in between. That's pretty much, how you would do an EVP session. You can also use like a digital recorder, a recorder from your phone, a digital voice recorder that you can buy at pretty much any electronic store. Do the same thing. On those, I like those especially um, more so than any other device that you can use in EVPs, because they're not programmed, they have no sound come through them or anything. In other words, you put record on there, whatever comes through, it is actually picking up something that is there with you. Such as if you're talking, if you're recording yourself, it's going to come through. If there is a spirit there and they are using it, it's going to come through. The voice recorder is a little easier uh, for them to use to speak their voice. It will pick up on frequencies that, a lot of times our ears won't hear, but the voice recorder will pick up. Spirit energy, their frequency, uh, they can be talking around us and we're not able to hear them with our ears. But through some of these devices that we use, we can. So, if I had a choice of all devices to use, that would be my number one go-to, a voice recorder. Um, a lot of times you're going to do an EVP session asking questions, uh, trying to see if they'll use the device to come back through. You may do multiple sessions of nothing come through, but then there's going to be that one time that something does come through, and you are going to be amazed. A lot of times it might be kind of garbled to where you can't make out, but there'll be times you're getting a very clear response come back through to a question you have. So, possibly use something like that in an EVP session. Hope this video is beneficial. It helps you out. I may have repeated myself many times. It's kind of hard when I'm trying to do a training type video because there's so much to talk about. I'm trying to give you as much information as possible. Um, so, you know, kind of bear with me on that type of video. I'm not used to doing things like I'm more used to going out investigating, recording the investigations. Um, but I hope this video uh, was beneficial, helpful to you. If there's other things that you're wanting to learn or know or have questions about, please, you know, get back in contact with me. I'll be more than happy to help you out in any way I can, answer any questions that you have to the best of my abilities. I've been in the paranormal field for many, many, many years, and I do have quite a bit of knowledge. I do have a lot of experience. So, possibly I'll have an answer to your question. If I don't know, there's many colleagues out there I do know that possibly they'll have an answer for you. But watch through this video. You may want to watch it a couple times or so, um, and hope it's helpful.